This is a stimulus and Social Security update. Got some important update to share with you. $1,000 checks going out tomorrow and $1,500 checks going out today. I'll give you the details on those checks. When it comes to Social Security, the latest we've heard is that Kevin McCarthy agrees to not cut Social Security, but President Biden wants a full commitment. Also, President Biden wants McCarthy to commit to no debt default coming on Wednesday tomorrow, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a terrific Tuesday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel for more daily, straight-to-the-point updates on matters that financially matter to you. So, stimulus update. Have leftover stimulus funds been helping us avoid a recession? Many economists have cautioned that a recession could hit in 2023. A notable decline in consumer spending could fuel a downturn. Leftover stimulus funds from 2021 may have helped consumer spending remain strong thus far. Basically, what this article is saying is that consumer spending is down mainly because stimulus money is running out. Should there be more stimulus to help avoid a recession? That's the big question. So we've heard that there could be recession stimulus checks if a recession already happens. But what about preventative stimulus checks as well before a recession could happen? Is that a good idea? Let me know your thoughts on that. With checks going out, direct payments worth up to $1,500 being sent to Colorado taxpayers today, January 31st. So this is going on in Colorado. $750 for individuals and $1,500 for couples. The payment is scheduled to be paid out today, January 31st. And then in another state, stimulus update, direct relief payments worth up to $1,000 to be sent out in just 2 days. Actually, it's going to be sent out tomorrow, February 1st. This goes out to Connecticut workers, and these are $1,000 checks to Connecticut workers. So still some money going out. Social Security, Medicare should be off the table in debt ceiling talks, says McCarthy. So this is the latest that we've heard. So Kevin McCarthy says we're going to strengthen Social Security and Medicare. Strengthen is a very subjective term. He's not admitting that they won't be cut, but strengthen. And I guess some Democrats have pointed out that the word strengthen for Social Security and Medicare could mean cut and make it stronger. So we're having some wordplay and politics here. The White House blasts McCarthy for comments on strengthening Social Security and Medicare, basically saying you are not telling the truth. You can still cut Social Security and strengthen it at the same time, because strengthening is a subjective term. Strengthening to the Democrats and strengthening to the Republicans for Social Security mean two completely different things. So the latest is that we haven't heard if it is going to be cut, and the debt ceiling is not even solved yet. But Biden to ask McCarthy for commitment to avoid default at Wednesday meeting. So tomorrow, President Biden is meeting with Speaker Kevin McCarthy to see if he will commit to avoiding a default and if we will release a budget proposal outlining House GOP spending plans, according to White House memo. So we still don't even have a plan. The debt ceiling has already been reached. U.S. has maxed out its credit card, and there's no plan of what to do next. Democrats aren't speaking to the Republicans. Republicans aren't speaking to the Democrats. It's just a big mess. And 24 GOP senators warn they will oppose a debt limit increase without fiscal reforms. So nearly half of the Senate Republican Conference has signed to a letter to President Biden warning they will not vote for any bill to raise the nation's debt limit unless it's connected to spending cuts to address the nation's $31 trillion debt. So basically, the Republicans want to cut spending in order to increase spending. Still nothing concrete yet, at least publicly. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Speaking about behind closed doors, this is how politics work and Congress at its best, or maybe at its worst, actually. Take a look at what sort of behind closed doors deals were made here.
What was at issue then was whether or not Tony Gonzalez represented just himself or a larger group of moderates who would secure the speakership for McCarthy, but then not put into place the rules that would allow the one-person motion to vacate. So that's what the New York Times story gets wrong. They get a lot of things wrong, but that's the principal thing they get wrong. We weren't there for the sake of theater. We were there for the sake of ensuring that the rules we'd so heavily negotiated. And I got to give a lot of credit to my colleagues Chip Roy, Dan Bishop, Scott Perry, many others who really put the meat on the bone regarding the specific commitments we were extracting from McCarthy at that time.
Just to button this up, then what was then Representative McCarthy saying to you in this exchange?
He was assuring me breathlessly that the rules would pass.
Got it. So that's a long ways. You mentioned evolving. Here's how you sounded about then candidate Representative McCarthy.
He's a desperate guy whose vote share is dropping with every subsequent vote, and I'm ready to vote all night, all week, all month, and never for that person. And so one must wonder, Madam Clerk, is this an exercise in vanity? Maybe the right person for the job of Speaker of the House isn't someone who wants it so bad. Maybe the right person for the job of Speaker of the House isn't someone who has sold shares of themselves for more than a decade to get it.
Is he still not the right person in your view?
Well, he wasn't my first choice, but this is politics. We don't pitch underhand. At the end of the day, I ran out of stuff to ask for, Ari, and after we got the concessions on policy, on personnel, and on procedure, I didn't vote for McCarthy, but we did allow him to assume the speakership with less than 218 votes. That's how Nancy Pelosi got there. He's our speaker now. Long live the speaker.
Yeah. So you mentioned personnel. That is something that has been reportedly written down and agreed to on the side, a sort of a side deal. Here's Congresswoman Mace on some of that.
We don't know what they got or didn't get. We haven't seen it. We don't have any idea what promises were made or what gentlemen's handshakes were made.
Let's get into this. Maybe we resolve it once and for all right here on live TV. You have a 55-page rules package. That part is public under the rules. We could put up reporting on that. We all know about that. Then you have reporting of a secret 3-page agreement. Reading here from Punchbowl, McCarthy and his allies hashed this out with the Freedom Caucus. It's got the other concessions, including Rules Committee, that's personnel, I believe, what you just referred to, and other things. Point blank, Congressman, have you or your staff seen this additional agreement in writing in any form?
Yeah, it took multiple forms. There was specifically a side-by-side sheet where we made offers to McCarthy. There were some offers he accepted, some he modified, some he rejected, just like you'd see in any negotiation. I could tell you that Thomas Massey, Chip Roy, Ralph Norman being on the Rules Committee would not have happened but for this negotiation. Folks like Representative Clyde, Representative Cloud, two great conservatives on the Appropriations Committee. That's a direct result of these negotiations. And this week, we'll be voting on Paul Gosar's legislation to end the COVID national emergency. That was a piece of policy that McCarthy committed to bring to the floor.
I'll let you continue, but the question where I'm going is, why keep that secret?
What are your questions? I'm happy to tell you any element. I'm actually quite proud of the work product, so it's no secret at all.
The product, though, I appreciate you here taking questions, but why not release the written product that exists and has currently been kept secret? And for context, you and others have talked about bringing transparency to government. It's one thing to hear it described, and another thing for the government, now the House Republican majority, to just release whatever this underlying material is. Here's a little bit of how you and some others have sounded about government secrecy.
The American people are tired of the swamp games.
We had the audacity to want to know what in the world was going on behind closed doors.
Why not commit to releasing the written agreement or working to get it released tonight?
Yeah, I have no objection to that, but it was largely released to the conference and to the country when you saw the appointments of the committees. I mean, when you see now which members populate the key committees, you are in essence observing that agreement. When you see the schedule for floor votes on Dr. Gosar's legislation, you see that agreement. I can tell you we also have a commitment to have a vote on term limits, something that's popular in every zip code in America except Washington, D.C. We have a commitment for a budget resolution to roll back to 2022 spending levels. We, secured those things. I think they're critically important.
But Congressman Gates, let me follow up on this, and respectfully so. What it sounds like you're saying is some of the ingredients of this are you're saying coming out, and everyone, the public, the voters, your constituents in Florida should take your or the government's word for it. And that's really different than releasing a dated piece of material that explains what are the four corners of what your colleague, Congresswoman Mace, and others have called a secret agreement. In other words, I take your point. By the way, fact check true. Term limits are really popular for a lot of reasons. A lot of concerns, left, right, center, about people who stay in office forever. But again, why not have, and you guys were driving this, why not have you and your colleagues who negotiated it just release what was agreed to at the time in writing?
Again, I have no objection to that. I don't know that I still have a copy because we were able to resolve a lot of these things with committee appointments, with the floor schedule on the votes, and with the passage of the rules package. Remember, that was the thing that McCarthy originally said was his red line. He said he would never go to a one-member motion to vacate. He said that to me directly. But to his great credit, he ultimately agreed to that.
The thing you say you're proud of and that you won, you just didn't keep a copy of?
I know it, Ari. I'm here telling it to you. It's the release of the January 6th footage, the 14,000 hours. It's the legislation we've discussed. There's no grave secret. There's no big reveal coming later. You can see in the people, in the rules that we've passed, and in the bills that we've scheduled for votes that this is our Republican plan, and I'm really proud of it.
I wanted to get your answers on all that, and it's all, I think, very interesting, and you may have made some news saying you're open to it coming out. Maybe someone who does have a copy will release it. You could imagine anyone in government, whether it's someone at the SEC or FBI or in a different party, if they said, take my word for it, we don't need to release it, you might say no, then Speaker Pelosi.
By the way, that's what the FBI tells us all the time when we ask questions on the Judiciary Committee. I don't.
The question is, do you sound like
the FBI? But they don't describe it for us.
Well,
no, the difference is I'm describing to you all of the elements and features of the deal.
You are describing your version of it, and I appreciate that. That's why we're having a colloquy, as they say, in your branch of government.
I guess if you prefer someone else's version, you should invite them. I'm telling you my version.
We want the evidence. You also said on the record you didn't keep the copy. Okay. I want to turn to something else.
What are your thoughts on that? And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Guys, I didn't see you there. Hi guys, this is Belle. This is the tip of the day. So I wanted to tell you something that you should do. Hi guys, what are you doing? Sorry, that's my sister. If you want to do something and you can't find something, you have to do what you want to do and make another something. If you can't do the first one, then go on to the next one, because you have to stay positive and good and have good relationships with some friends, and you should always be good enough. Bye. That's all I wanted to tell you.
Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support. If you appreciate how I got straight through the point, let you know what was going on, no rambling or fluff, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to see my latest video on my Wise Buys channel of Bella, my daughter Bella, giving a review of one of her school items, click this video up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.